Yes, 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 yes. We are live. Welcome back to another edition of Go Long Live with Barry Long 2 and Sage Alvarez. I am Barry Long the second. Sage Alvarez will be joining us very soon. We're coming to you live on today's California.com. We're also live on today's Canada.com. We are also live on CoachellaValley.com. Shout out to everybody who's been sharing the posts, who's been liking and subscribing, and who's been supporting and commenting. We really do appreciate it. Now, I just want to say this before we get into sports, because we're supposed to be your escape from reality, for 30 minutes. We hear all these politics stuff, and the world's going crazy right now, y'all. The price of bacon is like soaring right now. I don't know what's going on, but I just read the other day the price of bacon is soaring. Y'all know I love my pork. I love pork in any form except like the McRib. And the McRib is making a comeback. It's McRib season right now. But yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody's out there being safe. COVID is real. And just, if you're not vaccinated and you're anti-vax, I mean, I'm fully vaccinated. But if you're anti-vax, then make sure you protect yourselves, wear your mask, take this thing seriously, people, so we can get back to just regular life. But today we're going to be talking about this matchup that we got tonight. Cincinnati versus the Jaguars, and a lot of people, a lot of casual fans saw that Jacksonville's playing against Cincinnati, and they're like, oh, what a terrible game. But actually, it's not really a terrible game. We got some really good storylines that are coming from this game. We're going to be talking about those here shortly with Sage Alvarez as soon as he joins us. We are also going to talk about Josh Gordon. Now, Josh Gordon has had many opportunities in the NFL, and he is now getting another one. I think I saw a tweet earlier that said, this is Josh Gordon's fifth second chance. So we're going to be able to see, what he's able to do. He signed with the Chiefs. We'll talk about that. Lashawn Mccoy is a free agent right now, but he's getting ready to retire as an Eagle. We'll definitely talk about that. Of course, we got the meme of the day. You can always comment. We want your comments to pop up, just like my man Albert right here. He is from the Philippines. He says, sir, I need cash from the Philippines. I don't have any cash to give to the Philippines right now. I barely have cash to give myself. But shout out to Albert. He's out here, he's just supporting. But we're live in the Philippines. So without any further ado, let me bring in my main man, Sage Alvarez. You can find him at SageDup on Twitter. What's going on, Sage? How you doing today, brother?
Man, what's going on, Barry? The second, not the first, not the third, Barry. The second.
Not the first, not the third, yeah. I saw a comment yesterday. They said one of the best parts of our show is not just when we're talking, but when they see me sip from my M&M's mug.
I had to send that to you. I sent it to you as a text this morning. I'm like, man, That was awesome.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, when sometimes I'm drinking a smoothie in there. Today I got iced tea. No, there's no alcohol in that cup. But,
okay, Barry.
It's just iced tea. So Sage, man, we got a matchup coming up tonight. I'm excited. We got Cincinnati versus the Bengals, and a lot of people, the casual fans, are like, man, this is going to be a terrible game. Because these teams were not projected to be the top of their division going into the season. But as it currently stands, Cincinnati is 2-1, and they are leading the division, the AFC North. And it's mainly because of Joe Burrow and what he's been able to do in the first 3 games. They could easily be 3-0 right now. They just barely lost the game, but we saw what they were able to do against Pittsburgh last week. They beat the brakes off Pittsburgh. They pushed them around. They bullied them. So Cincinnati comes in 2-1, and then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars that are 0-3, and this team has lost 18 straight games. 18 straight games. They were 1-15 last year, 0-3 this year. Brand new rookie head coach in Urban Meyer. I mean, of course, he did work when he was in college, from Utah to Bowling Green to Florida to Ohio State. We've seen what he's been able to do. But the NFL is a different monster. Not everybody can transition into becoming the best NFL head coach after they had successful runs in college. We saw with Nick Saban what happened to him when he went to Miami. Now he's back in college. Not everybody can be Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was special because he was able to win a championship in college, and he was able to win a Super Bowl in the NFL. Now, how do you feel about Urban Meyer and what we've seen from the Jacksonville Jaguars thus far?
Terrible. He's done a terrible job, and it's showing. I mean, they're ripping him every week on the NFL Network. You got inside sources just constantly just something's coming out. You got the Broncos coach just making they're making a joke out of Urban, and it shows because in the NFL it's not for long, and that's why I feel like Urban Meyer is not for long as the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach.
It's really. Now, I say that it's a little bit early, but I also think he's been doing a terrible job. Also, I mean, like he doesn't look the part. Something doesn't feel right. And I know he brought in some experienced guys that as assistant coaches and coordinators in order to help him kind of transition smoother. I like the Schottenheimer pickup. He made some questionable moves during the offseason with the strength and conditioning coach that he hired, who was very controversial. Bringing in Tim Tebow as a tight end who can't block was very controversial. You thought maybe they were going to set up a quarterback, conundrum between Trevor Lawrence and Tim Tebow. But ultimately, Tim Tebow is not in the NFL right now. But I mean, I worry about the progression of Trevor Lawrence. We've seen him have flashes of greatness, and we've seen him make some mistakes. But I really do think that he should have had somebody who's much more experienced in the NFL coming into college. I like the fact that they went out and got Travis Etienne, his college running back, Trevor Lawrence's college running back. There's some familiarity there between them. But at the same time, Travis Etienne is injured right now, season-ending foot injury. So his weapons are a little bit limited. I think that, he's got Marvin Jones. He can play. They got Carlos Hyde. They got James Robinson. They got a couple of weapons. But I just think that in the next few years, as they continue to add weapons to this repertoire, then I think that they'll get better and better. But I really don't know how long Urban Meyer is going to last. Now, the real interesting thing in this game is going to be this matchup right here: Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence. Now, they have a history. First of all, they're both the back-to-back number one overall draft picks. Trevor Lawrence going this year, and then Joe Burrow becoming the number one overall draft pick last year. And if you think back, if you remember, they were in the national championship against each other in 2019. And Joe Burrow beat the brakes off of that Clemson defense. He put up 45 on them. He dropped 45 like Michael Jordan. And the LSU, they looked really good, man. They were rolling. And they beat him by 20 points. And Trevor Lawrence hasn't forgotten that. And that's one of the only games where he didn't look like Trevor Lawrence. And he's eager to get his chance against Joe Burrow. He wants to beat him head to head. But I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals are rolling right now, and they're for real. They should be taken seriously. How do you feel about the Bengals?
I mean, the Bengals need to be taken serious. It's just a matter of time for the Bengals, and it's just about timing, momentum, winning those games. If you're gonna show us this isn't the game. This is a game you need to win if you're gonna make the playoffs. You have to win these games. So the next thing we need to focus on is: are you gonna win those tough division games, and are you gonna be able to control your destiny and get to the wild card game and get to the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and Zach Taylor, I like what he's doing. He's an offensive mind. They brought him in to really develop Joe Burrow. He's kind of a quarterback whisperer on the low. Like we've seen a lot of guys that are considered quarterback gurus, like Bruce Arians and other guys, but I really do like him. And he's got Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is killing it right now. Joe Mixon he's second in rushing yards only to Derrick Henry. So if he can continue to stay healthy and play the way he's been playing, I think that this team is going to continue to roll. The offensive line is looking good. Defense is stepping up. They got a guy by the name of Logan. What's his name? Logan Wilson. Go look him up, guys. He got 3 interceptions and he's a middle linebacker. Okay, so they got guys that can play all over the field. And then Jamar Chase. I love what Jamar Chase has been able to do in his first 3 games.
A lot of people doubted him.
A lot of people doubted him because they said he was going to have drop issues. He was having drop issues in the preseason. He looked fine to me. And that touchdown that he got against Pittsburgh, that was a great catch, and that was hands. But yeah, he can blow by anybody, and that was a really smart move by bringing him in because the familiarity between he and Joe Burrow, they played together in Cincinnati. It's almost like they know each other already. And it feels like, their off-season work that they put in, they've been doing that for years. So so this is this team's offense is serious, and I don't think it should be taken lightly. And I, for one, am so excited to watch this game tonight. I'll be out at Agua Caliente with TK from 93.7 KCLB. If y'all want to stop by and come say what's up. Sage, you're more than welcome to come through, my dude. But yeah, we are gonna be seeing a game that's not for the casual fan tonight. But if you're a real NFL fan, you love NFL, this is the game that you're gonna want to see, because this matchup right here. So shout out to the dogs. Shout out to the dogs in the back.
I know, right?
All good, all good. So we're live on today's California.com. We are also live on CoachellaValley.com. We are also live on all over Twitter. We are all over the Twitterverse. So yeah, we're gonna to jump into another topic. I wanna real quick shout out to Gelsa Henry. Gelsa Henry, she says, Buenos dias. Buenos dias. How you doing? She also says something about ministry, and she shouted out Caleb. So wherever you at, Caleb, why don't you comment, and we'll put you on right here live on Go Long Live with Barry Long 2 and Sage Alvarez. Now, my man Sage, we got a interesting story that I saw, and that a lot of people are very gonna be very doubtful about this guy, because he's let a lot of people down. Now, that's Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon right there, of course, he made a lot of noise when he first came into the league with the Cleveland Browns. He was putting up 250 games back to back like it was nothing. I mean, you were like, who the hell is this dude? and then he had some issues. He left the Browns. He went to Seattle. He's been in New England. He's been bouncing around, but he's been kicked out of the league and suspended multiple times for violating the NFL substance abuse policy. And he's been very open about his substance abuse. He's talked about how he was getting high in 7th grade during school. He's talked about all the different drugs that he's tried, marijuana being the one that he keeps getting popped for. But there's a lot more stuff involved than just marijuana. And we hope that for his health and for his sanity and well-being, we hope that that he's clean and he's sober, and that he's making good choices. But he had extensive stuff to say about how he was the coaches were helping him pass drug tests in high school or in college. And then he had another stop at Utah where he transferred, but he never even played a down in Utah because of this substance abuse issue. So we hope for the best for Josh Gordon, but we also hope the best for his performance, because when he's playing, he's awesome. He's amazing to watch. And I, for one, I think the Chiefs are a good landing spot for him. We've seen Andy Reid be able to rehabilitate players' careers. And he's gone through a lot with his son, with substance abuse, and he's fully aware of these issues. And we saw what he did for Michael Vick. Michael Vick was in prison for 2 years.
Tyreek Hill. And they drafted Tyreek Hill. He was a huge risk at the time for what he got into. And Chief fans were like, oh man, they did not want Tyreek Hill on their team at all, and mainly it was going to happen regardless of what team he got picked on. So he needed one coach to believe in him, because Tyreek felt that he can move past this, and we're a forgiving society where people do mess up, and we want to be there for them. I know a lot of people personally that I go through this type of thing, and it's tough. And I wish the best. I'm trying to, we can always help them out, but it's really when they make that decision themselves to get themselves help is when it all comes together for them.
Absolutely. And we hope the best for him. And Andy Reid, like I said, like you were saying, Andy Reid helped Tyreek Hill. They have Tyrann Mathieu was a risk because he was failing drug tests for marijuana back to back. And they were worried that he wouldn't have a great NFL career. He's in Kansas City. Le'Veon Bell, he was brought in, by Andy Reid. So Andy Reid is in the business of rehabilitating.
Not the Bell one, but everyone else.
Yeah.
Not the Bell.
Bell didn't work out, bro. Bell didn't work out.
Not the Bell one, bro. I gotta stop you there, bro.
He didn't
No.
Bell, man?
It was supposed to be like that extra guy that's supposed to pitch you over the top, and then
it didn't do it.
He sat on the sideline too much, and he didn't play. And that's what happens with some people. People need to play, man. If they can't, it's personal pride. They have to play. and that's how they work. That's how they motor. And you meet these people in any sport. There's guys on the team. You're like, man, if he don't play, he's not gonna be happy on the bench. Like he
Yeah,
needs to get off that
absolutely.
bench, and he might be that talented. There's only certain guys that get away with that.
Absolutely. So we're looking at Le'Veon Bell right now. He's on the Ravens and my Ravens, and I was hype on him, and I was early. I wanted to go and get him for my fantasy league. I went into the waiver wire and picked him up, and he has been doing nothing except being on the practice squad.
Hey,
So
no. He actually was doing something. He had that tweet where he had the guy going back and forth, like impatient. It was mostly supposed to be impatient on game day.
so he's ready. He's letting us know that he's ready.
He's ready, but
he
he's
needs
an opportunity. You know,
absolutely.
You owe me a soda. Jinx, you owe me a soda. I got can't be doing that.
Jinx. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in right now. We are live on CoachellaValley.com. We are live on Twitter, all over Twitter. We're also live on Today's California and Today's Canada. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, everybody for commenting. We're going to have some exciting stuff. We're going to be live from a couple of locations. We're going to have some sponsors that are starting to pour in. And like I said, they like my cup. If you want me to, if you make cups, then let us know and send us a cup, DM us, and we'll drink from your cup and we'll promote your product during the show. Now, Josh Gordon, what are your expectations for Josh Gordon moving forward in this season for the Chiefs?
I hope he can just make it all the way through. I don't see him getting. I see them making big. I already seen this that they're making him play calls. They're designing plays for him. So if that's the case, it's kind of raising everyone's expectations, even mine, because I'm always the guy that whenever I thought he was getting clean, I always picked him up in fantasy because he's just that good. Even if it was like last year or the year before when he got in trouble with the Seahawks, and you just want to believe in him, man. And I hope it's not all on him. And he's been through some things, and we can't judge another man for what they've been through. But we want those people to succeed, and I hope Josh Gordon gets through this. Gets through this, and Andy Reid and all the Chiefs can give him the support just for him to make it through the season, so we could get a check that could change his life and the next generation of his family, the next generation of his family. Like, if he's responsible, he's got to be responsible though. If he's doing substance still, he's gonna waste the money.
He's gonna take that check right to the drug dealer's house, right to the
car dealership, like any irresponsible spending, all that. It's all the little things. He might not even think it could be a couple years of just spending, and that's where you see guys like Marshawn Lynch just being a great mentor to all the future and all current NFL players, showing them ways how to don't touch this bread. You can touch this sponsorship money, but the NFL checks, just put it to the side and save that for after your career. Work for other things and don't spend all the crazy. Spend wisely.
Yeah, we've seen NFL players, NBA players, all kinds of professional athletes. They get ridiculous amounts of money, but there's a lot of guys who go broke, and it's like, man, if I made as much money as he made in 1 year in my lifetime, I wouldn't be broke. So I got a lot of guys have.
They just need to watch The Rock in Ballers when he gave that speech.
For sure. But yeah, man, Josh Gordon, I honestly think, like you said, they were designing playing calls for him. I think that it's going to be really a good thing for him to be incorporated into this offense. Of course, it's going to take him a little bit of time to learn the playbook and to ingratiate himself into this offense. But Pat Mahomes is excited, and if you pair him with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, you saw what Sammy Watkins was able to do in the playoffs for that team. Maybe Josh Gordon, he hits his stride right before the playoffs, and maybe he makes some noise this season. But I don't expect him to lead the league in passing or receiving yards, but I definitely do expect the Chiefs to figure out a creative way. Eric Bieniemy is on fire with his play calling, so I expect them to be able to make some, to design some stuff for him and put him in a position to be successful. Now we are live on CoachellaValley.com, Today's California.com. I am Barry Long II. This is Sage Alvarez. And Sage, now this guy, Lashawn McCoy, is another guy who was picked up by the Chiefs, and he really didn't work out too much. He didn't get a lot of playing time. He got picked up by the Tampa Bay Bucks. most recently, and he won a Super Bowl on the bench. But shout out to him. He's a free agent this season, and that's Lashawn McCoy. And that's a good picture of him, man, because Philadelphia was where he really made his name, and he became a household name in Philadelphia. And if you remember back then, when Chip Kelly came into the NFL, another guy who was successful at coaching in college, like Urban Meyer, and then goes to the NFL. He lasted for a couple of years, but he ultimately is better as a college coach. But when he came into Philadelphia, his first move, he wanted to let everybody know that he's not messing around. They traded Lashawn McCoy to Buffalo for a guy by the name of Kiko Alonso. And it wasn't so much. Kiko Alonso is a good player. He can play in this league. I mean, I like Kiko Alonso, but it was just the fact that it was Kiko Alonso and it was LaShawn McCoy. And it was just like, man, I heard people talking like he got traded for a ham sandwich. He got traded for a bucket of chicken. It seemed like an unfair trade. It seemed like because LaShawn McCoy was a little bit more outspoken in that locker room, and they didn't really a lot of players. Chip Kelly rubbed them the wrong way. He wanted to get the main guy out of there, and ever since he left Philadelphia, it just he did a little bit of work in Buffalo, but he just hasn't had that major role as the every down back that we've seen him do when he was in Philly. And Philadelphia is doing something very classy. He mentioned it many years ago. He said that one day he wants to retire as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's from that area, so he it's like playing at home for him. And he basically, or he's from that region. He's not really from exactly Philadelphia, but he's from New Jersey, where everybody in New Jersey is a Philadelphia Eagles fan and a Phillies fan. But yeah, he definitely is going to get this chance to retire as an Eagle because Jeffrey Lurie and those guys in the front office, they made a classy move and they decided that they're going to bring him back for one game. And it just so happens that it's going to be against the Chiefs. Andy Reid, who was his long-term coach in Philadelphia when he was making moves. So they're going to retire him. And then I guess he's going to go back to being a free agent or a retired free agent. But yeah, it's going to be a classy move. And I, for one, am excited to see that they're doing this for LaShawn McCoy. How about you?
LaShawn McCoy was a special running back. His timing, and I think when Chip Kelly traded him, I believe that they needed a new running back direction at the time too. You could almost see they seen it coming because his career really didn't. It wasn't spectacular really after. He did okay in Buffalo, but nothing like the LaShawn McCoy Eagle that we all saw.
The guy with the champ belt.
Oh yeah, not that and a lot of people argue there's the running back clocks. They just don't last too long in the NFL, and especially running backs. That's why the position gets very undervalued, especially in money situation, because how good are running backs past the second contract? Like past the rookie contract, and then it gets a little, and then you're trying to get even a third contract. Are you Hall of Fame? And almost like it's tough. It's a tough mark because you are. I mean, look at this. We had Todd Gurley. He's still a free agent. I mean, he was honestly the fall off is pretty quick for running backs. And if you see it in practice, these guys watch them every day. I mean, they see Le'Veon Bell, and I want to believe in Le'Veon Bell. I want to be one of those guys. Like I think he could come back, but if Baltimore really doesn't believe in Le'Veon Bell, maybe there's a reason why he's still in the practice squad, and maybe he wasn't ready.
That's very true. You there's a few things to unpack right there. You made a valid, very great point about the longevity of NFL running backs' careers, and like you said earlier, it stands for not for long, and it's not more truer than at the running back position, and that's why they don't want to pay these free agents high amounts of money to bring them into their team, because running backs, I mean, they don't last for long, and you can get another one. You can get one in the draft, and we saw what's going on in Baltimore right now with all these guys getting injured. You got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. It's just ridiculous, how many injuries we see from the running back position. So it's been undervalued right now in the draft. They don't want to spend the number 1 overall draft pick on the running back. And you're right, a guy like Todd Gurley who came into the league as a grown ass man, and he was putting in work for the Rams, and he was their workhorse. And Sean McVay, was super excited to have Todd Gurley on the team. They handed him the ball every down. He
Ben
had some
McCarl's
injuries.
Jr. commercials. Come on.
In the Carl's Jr. commercial with Jay Moore. Shout out to Jay Moore from Jay Moore Sports. I love Jay Moore. He's a comedian and everything. But yeah, he was in the commercial with him. And Todd Gurley looked like he was going to be in the league for a long time. And I know that he's a free agent right now. He might get an opportunity to play for an NFL team this year. But you're right. He'll never be the same. And these running backs don't last long in this league. So it's gonna be interesting.
Gotta enjoy them while they're here.
You got to smell the roses.
People's windows aren't that big in sports in just general. Like they let you know, like you're gonna hang up the cleats, you're gonna hang up the,
unless you're Albert Pujols, who's like 48,
or Tom Brady, really.
Tom Brady. Yeah,
refuses to go down.
Albert Pujols. This is just real quick. I just want to say that Albert Pujols is on the Dodgers, on my Dodgers, and his number is 55. And there's been like a long-term rumors about Albert Pujols, and when he came over from the Dominican Republic, he lied about his birth certificate. He's much older than what he said he was. So I tell people all the time that he's number 55. That's not his number. That's his age.
Jeez.
That's terrible. That's terrible. All right, so real quick, we got a couple minutes to talk about this game this Sunday between the Bucs and the Patriots. How do you feel about Tom Brady returning to New England, where he had so much success, and he is basically God to New England? How do you feel about the matchup between he and his ex-head coach, Bill Belichick?
They better not boo him. And honestly,
they better not. I think they're too classy of fans in Boston to boo him.
They can't boo him, man. And don't be an opposing team and dress up in Patriot gear and just boo him on purpose. I mean, even though that's a great idea,
that's a great idea.
Don't do that to make them look bad.
That's a great idea. Yeah, if you had a bunch of Buccaneers fans going putting on Patriots jerseys
and they just boo Brady and just makes them look, just to make Patriot fans look bad.
Oh man, they better do it. They better do a tribute video. They better make Tom Brady cry before the game. That's what I think.
They better honestly. Every time he's on the field, they better just stand up. Just why not? This is like LeBron going back to Cleveland, but it should be even bigger. To be honest, it should be even bigger. Every time he steps on the field, everything is completely past clap. Like it's 6 rings, bro. That's 6 crazy.
6 rings, and now 7, and now he's got 7 more than any NFL franchise has. Pittsburgh, they call him Sixburg. Well, he's got 1 more than y'all. The whole city, the whole franchise. But yeah, I really do. I think they're gonna show him some love, and I think I think that he's gonna downplay it the entire week because that's what Tom Brady does. But deep down inside, he really wants to go out and beat Bill Belichick. And that's kind of what fueled his fire last season. Is I want to prove to everybody that it wasn't Bill Belichick, that it was me that was the difference maker. And you saw he leaves. They don't make the playoffs. They're under 500. And what does he do? He wins the Super Bowl his first year there. So. And him losing last week, I think that in that fashion to the Rams, I think he wants to have a bounce back game, period, no matter who he's playing. So, so look out, Patriots. I think the Bucs are going to come with some fire, and his teammates are going to want to step up for him, and they're going to want to get the win more than he's going to want to get the win. So I feel like they're going to be flying all over the place, and it's going to be
Jones is going to be
who? Mac Jones? Who?
Mike Jones?
Mac Jones? Who? Mac Jones?
I still be bumping him, man.
Me too.
It ain't changed.
It ain't changed. Yeah, Mac Jones is gonna have to put up a big game. He's gonna feel like a lot of pressure because Tom Brady, those are the biggest shoes to fill. So it's gonna be an interesting game. I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see that game as well. So who do you got? Jags or Bengals tonight?
Oh, I got the Bengals, and I got people hitting my line trying to convince me that the Jaguars are gonna win tonight. It's just not good coaching right now, and it just don't see it. And man, you got me over here about to play like some Mike Jones on the way on my way to work right now.
My man. All right, we got a meme of the day. And I just thought this was funny, man. This is a smart car or a Fiat. It says the only appropriate paint job for this car. And most of y'all had, when y'all were kids, if y'all were lucky, y'all had the little Fisher Price car, man. And but yeah, the smart car is a Fiat. That is awesome, man. I really love that. That was brought to us by Ultra Tune _ Kirawee on Instagram. And I also saw this meme. Hey, Eli, how many Super Bowls did you beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? You beat him twice. Shout out to Eli Manning. But the Eli Manning and Peyton Manning, they do that little Monday Night Football commentary, and that has been great. I mean, I prefer to watch the regular broadcast besides watching that. But at the end of the day, if you ever get a chance to flip over to ESPN2 and see those guys, they're pretty good together, man. And they also have a podcast. But Eli Manning, he got so much flack for being an all shucks kind of non-personality kind of player during his time in the league, and now he's kind of showing y'all he's got a lot of personality. He gets in there, he started salsa dancing one day. Like my man Eli Manning, he can definitely stick around, and I definitely expect him to be in commercials. Wow. So great show today, man, and we appreciate you and everybody out there that's tuning in. Sage, tell them how they can find you, brother.
Man, y'all can find me at Twitter at SageDuck, and you can find me at Facebook at Sage Alvarez. Add me as a friend, and you can also find me at Instagram at SageDuck.
Saged up, man. Saged up.
You gotta get saged up. I mean,
you gotta get
once you join the community, you definitely saged up the rest of your life.
Absolutely, that's what's up, man. Y'all can find me on Facebook at Barry Long 2. Barry Long space II, and then you can also find me at Radio Barry Long on Twitter, and you can also find me on Instagram as Barry Long _2. Thank everybody for tuning in and everybody for commenting. Like Shelly Courtney, she said, for what? I guess she's talking to. They got a whole conversation going on in the comment box. But Prasad Bunta says something about Cambodia. They want to book our services here? So I mean,
I'm all right.
No, shout out to Preserve, man. We're in Cambodia right now. They're watching us in the Philippines. It doesn't get no better than that, man. But yeah, y'all have a great night watching Thursday night football between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both Sage and I picked the Bengals. We will talk to y'all tomorrow. Remember, stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, you're capable of doing anything. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.